Ladies and gentlemen, just around the corner, it's Super Bowl 50, the PX1 Sports Super Bowl between the Seattle Seahawks and the Buffalo Bills. Wood Small 12 and Clay Williams taking on one another here tonight in the big game. Alongside Mike Peters, I'm your play-by-play commentator, Cameron Irvine. And Mike, it's an exciting time to be here around PX1, and we're energized for tonight's ball game.
Yeah, it should be a good matchup today. Definitely looking forward to it. You know, we've got a couple of users that are actually veterans of our leagues. Both of them played with us last year, so we're kind of familiar with what they do. Wood Small, he actually won a Super Bowl last year with the Denver Broncos. He's back in the Super Bowl this year. First season with the Seahawks. Traditionally, you know, he's a guy that likes to play defense. He likes to run the ball. He doesn't take a whole lot of chances. He tries to play smart and, you know, just kind of control the clock. Clay, on the other hand, he's one, as we saw with Tyrod Taylor, you know, winning the MVP, he likes to throw the ball around. He's going to try to get Sammy Watkins involved. He's going to throw it down the field. He's going to try to play smart defense too, you know, play that Rex Ryan defense, blitz a little bit. But really, I think his game is mostly centered around his offense.
So with that in mind, Mike, give me your first couple of keys to the game tonight.
The first key, I think, is probably going to be the running game. Whoever can establish the running game or stick with the running game the longest before they abandon it, start throwing it, is going to have a leg up. I think the second key to the game for me is turnovers. We saw Tyrod Taylor in the first playoff game against Cincinnati throw 4 interceptions. So that's going to be key. You know, neither one of these guys want to throw interceptions. Wood Small started off the other game with an interception, but he wound up rebounding from it. So turnovers are key. They definitely don't. They want to limit those, and they want to try to run the ball and control the clock.
Yeah, for me, especially on the Bills side, they have to make sure that LaShawn McCoy becomes an integral part of the offense. He really struggled in that AFC Championship game against Baltimore, not only getting going, but also in just finding some holes and finding some lanes. And Seattle's going to be ready for any kind of trick in the book that Clay tries to throw at him. And so I think that staying to their keys and allowing McCoy to sort of get in a rhythm, I think is big for Buffalo to be able to compete with Wood Small, who, while he doesn't have as good of a record as Buffalo, is considered maybe the favorite tonight.
I think so. We actually have a line in our sports book on the website. It started at 4.5, and it was bet up to 7.5. So everybody was loading up on Wood Small. He seems to be the prohibitive favorite. I think most people project him to win, but don't count out Clay. He's got a tough offense, and if he gets on a roll, he's going to be hard to stop.
So we are getting all loaded up here. Seahawks and Bills from Levi's Stadium in San Francisco, California. The time is almost upon us. The Super Bowl, PX1 Sports. We're going to crown a champion tonight here on Twitch.tv. So as we await to send it out to the stadium, we're just getting ready and getting fired up here as the kickoff is nearly upon us. And there is the beautiful Levi's Stadium right there, and the beautiful field as well, fully sodded and no bad spots in it anywhere.
Fresh sod's always nice to play.
So we're good to go. Seattle's going to receive the kickoff here to start the ball game. Bills and Seahawks. The cameras are flashing, and we're waiting on the kicker. Ball's up on the tee at the 35-yard line. And Buffalo has started the Super Bowl here on PX1 Sports, as it will be returned from the 5-yard line by the Seahawks over to the right side and trying to follow some blockers. Return up to the 21. A decent starting field position for Russell Wilson, who had an 82.4 QBR quarterback rating, 3,956 yards this regular season.
Yeah, Russell Wilson, he's going to be, one of the keys to the offense. One of the things that we talked about before is he hasn't ever gotten really running in this offense. He only had 15 carries for 1 yard this year. I would like to see Sean try to get him running a little bit, try to get him moving out in the pocket, maybe do some rollouts, maybe try to do some scrambles, get the Buffalo defense and get them off their toes early.
So Russell Wilson will start with a single man in the backfield. That's Marshawn Lynch wearing number 24. The defensive line shifts from right to left. The ball's on the left hash, and the line back to the right-hand side. Wilson under center gives it off to Lynch on the first play of the Super Bowl, and Lynch will find a crease around the left side towards the middle. A 5-yard pickup, about a 4.5-yard gain officially. Lawson on the tackle, 2nd and 6.
I don't know if you saw this. On the first play of the game, Mario Williams fires off the ball and pancakes right tackle. I don't know if he's fired up and he's ready to go, but that was the first thing I noticed, and that could be something to watch if he's going to play like that the whole game.
Second down and 6 here for Seattle after the 4-yard run from Marshawn Lynch. The starting receivers, Chris Matthews, number 13, Jermaine Kearse, number 15, Tyler Lockett is 16, and of course the big tight end, number 88, Jimmy Graham, who's been an integral part of the Seahawks run to the Super Bowl here this year. Ball on the left hash, and on second down and 6, Lynch will take the handoff left side, and he bounces off a couple of would-be tacklers, picks up another 4, going to bring up a 3rd and short 2 here for the Seahawks.
Well, this is what we kind of expected Sean to do coming out here. Wood Small. Sorry, I call him by his first name. We expect him to come out, try to control the ball a little bit with Marshawn Lynch. That's been a key in most of his games so far in the playoffs. Get the running game going, kind of get him settled in, work out the jitters and everything, establish the run game, get the defense kind of on their toes, and then he'll start working in the passing. So far, it's working out well for him. It's already got a 3rd and 2, very manageable 3rd down, like the way they're starting out. There's
a look at Darius, 39 tackles, 8 assisted, 6.5 sacks this season. Also had a forced fumble. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 2 after Lynch back-to-back runs here with 8:50 to go in the first quarter. The ball rests. It's really a 3rd down and 1. Ball rests at about the 30, and Lynch will go into the shotgun for the first time tonight. Matthews and Baldwin on the right side. Wilson's first pass of the Super Bowl. He's looking around, fires it, and it's knocked away. Beautiful defense by Buffalo, and a 3 and out for Seattle to begin things.
I think it's Corey Graham on the coverage there. A great man coverage. He's come up, played the man in the slot. You really can't ask for better coverage than that. You hold them to a 3rd and 2. That's not really a spot that you want to be in as a defense with Marshawn Lynch. They have a lot of options. They come out in the man coverage. They run the zero blitz. They didn't really get the coverage or the pass rush in there like they wanted to. But the defense played great coverage. They forced a punt, and Buffalo's definitely got to be happy about the way they started.
So Ryan will come out on the field, averaged 45.2 yards per punt with a 40.3 net this season. He boots it deep. That's a beautiful kick inside the 10, and it's going to hop out of the end zone. So Ryan can't get the good bounce, and Buffalo and the league's MVP, Tyrod Taylor, will come out on the 20.
So Tyrod's going to get an opportunity here to see what he can do. As we talked about in the pregame, he's kind of been up and down throughout the playoffs. He started the playoffs. He had the 4-touchdown, 4-interception game. Close game against Cincinnati. He wound up pulling it off. Last game he had a little bit better game, but he kind of started off rough early on and then ironed it out. So we got to see what kind of Tyrod Taylor shows up tonight.
So Taylor out of the shotgun. 1st and 10. McCoy to the left side alongside Mike Peters on Cameron Irvine. The handoff goes to McCoy. McCoy is wrapped up quickly, a 2-yard gain. Beautiful tackle up the middle of the field, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 8 for Buffalo.
So, again, this is much what we noticed, or we figured was going to happen too. Buffalo comes out, they're trying to run the ball. I think both of these guys, talked to them before the game, they both kind of had the same mentality. They want to play strong defense. They want to get the running backs involved. We see that early on, both guys trying to do that.
People in the chat may have thought there was a bit of a face mask there, but no call on the field. 2 minutes into the Super Bowl, scoreless. Seattle on their first drive with a 3 and out, and Russell Wilson starting the game 0 for 1. That was better than the last week in the NFC Championship where he threw a pick on his first throw. So has baby steps there. Taylor's under center with McCoy in the backfield. 2nd down and 8. Both teams looking to establish the run early on. Watkins in motion. Taylor back to pass. 3-step drop. Fires it to Clay. 1st down and more. Clay gets away from a 2nd and down to the 45-yard line. A 23-yard gain for Charles Clay. And Buffalo's got the first down of the night.
Clay hasn't been a huge part of the offense. He's only had about 3 catches in each of the last couple games, but we saw him in the last game. They got him involved, and he went with the rushing touchdown, actually. And they'll use him periodically here and there to get him open. He can be a key part of the offense. We see him getting involved in early already. I think we're going to see that a lot more as the game goes on.
1st and 10, 7:15 to go in the first quarter. No score. Buffalo on the move on their opening possession, and Harvin is now in the slot to the left side. With Tyrod Taylor under center. Back to pass. Taylor against a middle blitz, and that pass is caught up in the middle of the field by Harvin, and a hurdle over nobody, but Harvin finds some space, breaks off 2 tackles, and Harvin down the sideline all the way to the 8. It's another first down for Buffalo. An explosive move from Percy Harvin.
A big play early on in the game. I talked about this earlier. Clay likes to go out there and throw it around. If he can get his offense going early, he can be tough. A lot of people think Seattle's going to win this game. Everybody was loading up in our sports book, but this is the kind of big play that they can get. Not sure what Percy Harvin was doing out there. Looked like he was trying to saddle a horse or something, jumping all over the place. But it was a big play, turned into a big game, and Buffalo's in business now.
Harvin just 34 yards on 3 grabs in the AFC Championship game against Baltimore, but nearly a 1,000-yard receiver this season. First down and goal at the 8 for Taylor and the Bills, who are off to a raucous start here in the Super Bowl, and McCoy going to try to cut it outside. And no. The tackle made by KJ Wright in the backfield, a loss of 3.
That's a play where I would have liked them to see it run it up the middle. You know, it was designed to run through the B gap. They want to run it up there. He got a little panicky, tried to break it outside. There was room to go up front. Just move it up front. You know, run it through your hole. Pick up your 2 or 3 yards if you want. Maybe he breaks the tackle. Maybe he gets in the end zone. He tried to get greedy, went outside. He wound up losing a couple yards. Not ideal for that situation.
4 minutes into the first quarter, Seattle side the ball, just 3 offensive plays, a quick 3 and out on their opening possession, and Ryan booted it into the end zone. If you're just joining us, Buffalo on the move thanks to a huge catch and run after the catch from Percy Harvin. Sammy Watkins, the team's leading receiver, quiet thus far. Woods is in the slot to the left, back to pass Taylor, and Taylor's looking around, has time. Now the time is running out, got away from one and threw it away due to the pressure. Nice job by Seattle getting back up on their feet there on that quarterback rush, and it's 3rd down.
That was a good job by Tyrod Taylor, not to force a pass, not to get too anxious and throw something in. A lot of young quarterbacks aren't going to make that. You know, they're going to try to force a play there. He's like, okay, I don't have anything there. I'm getting pressure. Let me just throw it out of bounds. We'll reset. Important thing here is at least keep your field position and come away with at least 3 points out of it.
Seattle trying the bend but don't break technique here early on in this Super Bowl, and it's these type of plays that are going to make and break this champion tonight.
Well, we've seen that a little bit. You know, they've allowed yards and they tighten up in the red zone, and we might see that again here. 3rd
down and goal at the 11 for Taylor, who's out of the shotgun. He will drop back to pass. Has a good pocket, fires over the middle, and a nice open field tackle made there by Lane. Jeremy Lane with his 43rd tackle, I guess, if you just take regular season and this game combined. That kick is good on the field goal for the Bills. They take it early, 3-0 lead, but a nice stop there for the Seahawks in the open field.
That was a good stop, and you know, some people might criticize that play call there. You're going to throw the ball 8 yards short of the end zone. But you know what? You're just throwing it short. If something happens and he makes a play, cool. But I think Clay was thinking, let me get out of this with at least 3 points, and he did the job.
Lockett on the return from the 9-yard line looking for some blocks, and he runs into a massive pile of Buffalo Bills there as Rambo and Briggs combine for the stop.
So now Seattle's got to do, you know, try to establish the running game again, try to get the offense going. Now, what we've seen out of Woodsmall so far early on in the playoffs, if he comes out and runs on the first drive, he's going to try to lull you to sleep with the running game, get you, try to come up. Then he's going to start throwing some little passes outside and try to spread you out. Be interesting to see here if he comes out running the ball right away, or if he comes out right away passing the ball, trying to catch him off guard.
4:59 to go in the first quarter, and the ball is right on the 5 in Super Bowl 50's logo at the 25-yard line. Baldwin's out to the left side. Lynch in the backfield. 3-step drop here for Wilson, and he's got all the time in the world. Curse makes the catch, but a nice tackle by Stephon Gilmore, and it's 2nd and 7.
Well, they got the catch, and they picked up 3 yards, but the notice about that is the coverage on this was super tight. Like, he was stuck to his hip. Even though they got the completion, he was right on him. Also looked like the 3rd and 2 play on the previous drive. If that's the way these Buffalo corners are going to cover all game, it's going to be tough to move the ball for the Seattle offense.
Seahawks offense looked really good against the Panthers, had nearly 400 yards of offense, had over 130 on the ground and through the air. Very balanced as Chris Johnson takes the carry and gets plastered right at the line of scrimmage by Preston Brown. What a hit for Brown, a gain of about a half yard.
Chris Johnson's not a guy that they use a whole lot, but they will bring him in. They'll try to spell Marshawn a little bit. They'll try to give him a different look. Obviously, he's got speed, so they're going to try to get him outside. They tried to there. But we know this Buffalo defensive line. They got Marcel Darius, they got Kyle Williams, they got Mario Williams. These guys are monsters. It's hard to run on them. We saw that last week with Baltimore. They weren't able to get the running game going against them. That's going to be an interesting thing to watch, too, is if Seattle can't get the running game going, do they start to panic? And does Russell Wilson get forced into making mistakes?
Ball on the left hash. Johnson's still in. Baldwin over to the left side for Russell Wilson, who's adjusting the call. Jimmy Graham has been quiet so far in this quarter, and Wilson drops to throw, looking for Graham in double coverage, and that pass is incomplete. Good coverage on Seattle's top receiver there, and another 3 and out for the Seahawks.
Yeah, this is not the way that you want to start if you're the Seahawks. 2 3 and outs, definitely not the way you want to go. Most of the passes so far have gone over the middle. They've come inside. That's not working. Now you're going to have to start trying to throw outside and stretching the defense a little bit.
Ryan having one heck of a quarter as that punt goes out of bounds at the 11-yard line. The good news for Seattle is they're saying to Buffalo, we're going to make you drive the length of the field if you're going to beat us tonight.
Well, you know, having a field position advantage isn't the worst thing in the world. You know, obviously you don't want to go 3 and out. You'd like to move the ball, but they are putting them in bad field position, and they are forcing them to make long drives, which it always gives a chance for something negative to happen.
Out of the eye for Buffalo. 4 down linemen for the Seahawks, and Taylor's calling out the blitzer, and the handoff goes to McCoy, and McCoy has a little hole through the middle, picks up a couple, and again we're seeing McCoy sort of struggle to get going as we saw last week.
Well, we've seen that in all the playoff games so far. McCoy's really kind of struggled to get going. He had 89 yards against Cincinnati. That was his biggest game in the playoffs. You know, they would like to have him break out, be able to get a 100-yard game, but you know, it's going to be tough against this defense. The biggest thing is to keep running the ball. I like how he followed it through. He took his 2 yards there. He didn't panic. You know, just pick up yards when you can and set up manageable third downs if that's what you wind up in.
72 yards for Buffalo so far in this quarter. Most of that on the Percy Harvin catch and gallop over to the right side and into inside the 10-yard line. Taylor fires, and that pass is incomplete. Looking for Woods, and Lane again on the coverage. So that'll bring up 3rd down and 8, and we're seeing a lot of defense, good defense here early on from these two champions.
Good defense and good coverage. I mean, they both have good corners. Both teams have good corners. They have good safeties. You know, it's going to be hard to move the ball. This is one of those games, you know, we had the over-under set, I think, at 42, and it went up a point. This could be a game that's like 17-7, 17-10. I mean, I'm not expecting a whole lot of scoring in this game. It would surprise me.
Taylor is out of the shotgun. Hogan is off to the slot. McCoy is to the right of Taylor with 5 linemen on the line. Back to pass. Tyrod looking around, feeling the pressure, fires it short, but just nowhere to go. Robert Woods makes the catch back at the line of scrimmage, but a 3 and out there for Buffalo, and Seattle's going to end up with the football maybe around their 40-yard line.
Yeah, I didn't mind the short pass on the 3rd down when you had the field goal sitting there because you wanted to keep the field goal. This one, maybe a little bit too conservative there. Maybe you want to see it, force it down the field a little bit. You are giving Seattle great position here.
Short kick. Lockett calls for the fair catch, and Seattle's going to get the ball at the 46-yard line. So the Seahawks finally maybe can put together a little bit of momentum here after 6 plays and no first downs here in the first quarter.
Well, it's definitely not time to panic for Seattle, for sure. You know, they're feeling him out a little bit. Woodsmall is one of those guys. He's going to kind of feel out his opponent, and as he figures out what his opponent's going to do, then he's going to start making adjustments. Right now, it's just a feeling out period for both sides. It's, you know, kind of like a heavyweight fight. They're coming out, they're punching, they're jabbing, they're trying to figure out, you know, what the other person's going to do, and then they'll start attacking with the big shots later on.
So Russell Wilson is 1 for 3, just completing that little short pass to Curse over the middle. Back to pass Wilson, and his 4th throw is a completion on the sideline, to the Buffalo 38-yard line, I should say, and that's Luke Wilson on the grab.
Well, Luke Wilson's one of those guys who can be an integral part of the offense. He didn't have a ton of stats throughout the season, only 31 catches. But he is somebody that he likes to use and get away from Graham. Most teams are going to focus on Graham. And if you have Wilson on the other side, and he's kind of stretching the defense the opposite way, it creates a lot of problems for the defense. I expect to see Wilson stay involved as we play through the game.
So Seattle finally able to move the chains there. Just 8 rushing yards for the Seahawks as well on a counter. That didn't work as Darius makes the tackle. That whole left side of the line was blown up there, and it's 2nd and 11.
Yeah, we mentioned this earlier. Darius, Kyle Williams, all those guys are tough to run on, and we're going to see that a lot. They're going to get in the backfield. They're going to make plays. They're going to make it tough for Marshawn Lynch and Chris Johnson to get going. The important thing is for that offensive line to start making those adjustments, start blocking just in the blocking scheme so that they can pick it up and allow those guys to get free.
Follow us personally on Twitter at SimulationFL and at Majesty95, and also tweet about PX1 Sports tonight. Use the hashtags PX1 Live and the VIP Super Bowl to make your presence felt here tonight, as that pass is knocked away and incomplete. A beautiful read there by Stephon Gilmore, and these corners for both sides are just doing everything tonight.
Well, this is one thing that you don't see a lot in these games, or even in this league. A lot of guys like to play zone defense. They feel it's a little safer. They want guys to try to jump and make interceptions. These guys are coming out playing man defense, and these cornerbacks are everywhere. They're sticking to the receivers. They're not giving a whole lot of room. These defenses are fired up. It's a big game. They're ready to go. Yards are difficult to come by.
So 3rd down and long here for Seattle. It's not like they haven't been here before this evening. They've faced 3 third downs now, I should say. Ball's on the left hash this time. Curse and Wilson over to the left. Graham and Baldwin to the right, and Lynch is standing to the right of Wilson. Defense is in a 4-3 look. Back to pass. Russell looking around. It smacked as he threw it, and Luke Wilson comes up with a sensational catch, but a better throw from Wilson on an 18-yard gain.
It was a great throw. He was getting pressure. The line was trying to get to him. A little bit longer for that play to develop. It took a little bit. He goes out and then he comes back in. But again, He's getting Wilson involved. He's trying to take it away. Maybe that gets the defense focused on him, and then he starts going to Graham on the other side, or maybe then he starts spreading out to wide receivers. I like the way that Wood Small's mixing it up now. This is what we normally see from him. He's going to give you a different look, and now he's kind of got the Buffalo defense guessing.
Buffalo looking to hold here. Seattle's now had the ball 10 plays, down to 25 seconds to go in the first quarter. 3-0 Bills over the Seahawks here in the PX1 Sports Super Bowl on Twitch. Hand off to Lynch, and Lynch is gashed in the backfield by Preston Brown. What can Brown do for you? It's a 4-yard loss. That's what he can do.
Oh, well, Brown had 99 tackles in the regular season. 11 of them went for a loss. This is not something new. He's one of those guys. He can get in there. He's going to make plays. He can get in the backfield and disrupt it. We see him break through there. Normally the defensive line gets all the credit. There the linebacker comes through, makes the play, and gets the tackle for loss.
Had 9 tackles against the Ravens. That's the end of the first quarter. The Seattle Seahawks 0 and the Buffalo Bills 3 here on Twitch.tv. Alongside Mike Peters, I am your play-by-play commentator for tonight's game, Cameron Irvine, and we're at Levi's Stadium in San Francisco, and we're fired up to be here as fans are still making their way from the long line of concessions to get into their seats, and the fans have to settle down into this one too.
Well, they got to get the food in them because this is going to be a great game, and they want to be full and ready to watch the last 3 quarters.
2nd down and 14. Wilson is out of the shotgun as Seattle tries to avoid yet another 3rd and long here. Now goes empty backfield, splits Lynch out to the left, and Wilson's got all the time in the world. Nowhere for him to throw it until we found Curse over the middle. That's a 12-yard gain. I thought Wilson could have taken it out to the right side. There was nobody out there.
Well, it's interesting that you say that. I was actually thinking that as I was watching it develop. That was one of those situations he had tons of time, didn't have a whole lot open early on. I wouldn't mind seeing him taking off and running around the outside. Make that defense come up, get him out of the man. Man's working really well for him right now. Get Russell Wilson running around, make him spy somebody, take somebody out of coverage. I think it would have been smart there, but they still got the 12-yard completion and set up a really short 3rd down.
3rd down and 2, 9:36 to go. If you're receiving any sort of echo, please describe it to us in the chat so we can try to make sure that we're doing everything we can to prevent that. 3rd down and 2 for the Seahawks here as Buffalo's defensive line shifting all over the field. Now shifts wide and then back towards the middle. Wilson to throw, fires a quick slant to Graham, and Graham gets sandwiched inside the 5-yard line, and Wilson's off to a 5-8 start now, 1st and goal.
Well, this is what we mentioned earlier. They went to Luke Wilson a couple times, maybe get the defense thinking about him a little bit. Now you run a slant play, which he ran a couple times earlier in the game. This time they leak Jimmy Graham outside. He's open to convert the 1st down. Great play call there, and this is something we're going to see as the game goes on. Wood Small's going to try to use things, set up other things. It's going to be up to play to react to them and start shutting it down.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough for microphones to contain my crunkness using the phrase in the chat. So yeah, you're going to have to live and die with that one. 1st down and goal for Russell Wilson. Matthews goes in motion, hand off to Lynch, and Lynch tried to get in the end zone, and what a tackle made by Brown. 2nd down and goal prevents the touchdown.
Well, Brown coming through, making another play. I think Marshawn had a little bit of room outside if he would have tried to stretch it a little bit, getting a foot race maybe with Brown there, but he thought he could bowl him over. It's Marshawn Lynch, right? He tries to put the shoulder into him. Brown was having none of it, makes the tackle. 2nd goal. Let's see if they go to Lynch again.
Hashtag least mode. I saw that in the chat earlier, and he was
hating on Marshawn already.
I'm not. I'm just saying he didn't get in the end zone. You got to get in the end zone in the Super Bowl. Come on, man. 2nd down and goal. 8:03 to go in the first half. Still looking for our first touchdown. We've seen the fullback Coleman get involved here, but Lynch is going to get the carry a 2nd time, and the Seahawks have taken the lead as Marshawn Lynch addresses the crowd politely, I'm sure, and the Seahawks now have a 3-point advantage. Now 4.
Well, it wasn't his typical crotch grab, so we're happy not to see that. But this was the interesting thing I was thinking about that is I thought back to the Super Bowl between Seattle and New England, where they threw it on 2nd down and they threw the interception. I was wondering if they were going to give it to Marshawn again. They did. He wound up getting the touchdown. Seattle goes up 7-3.
5-star TA wants me to say hi to him. I have to oblige. I just love making people happy. So what's up, 5-star TA, as Buffalo gets it out to the 23-yard line, returned by Thigpen.
Well, 5-star is one of those guys that plays in our Xbox League, and he creates a ton of content. Like, he's the Browns. He's fallen in love with the Browns through Madden, through his content. So I'll give you a shout out to what's up, 5-star. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying it.
So Buffalo will take over now, down by 4 for the first time in this game, trailing. And we saw Buffalo overcome a deficit last week against Baltimore there early in the 3rd quarter, really handled themselves well in that situation.
Yeah, and that's one of those things. They don't need to panic now being early. They can always fight back.
So McCoy's in the backfield, and Taylor again is looking to the defense to make adjustments as Taylor fires over the middle. Beautiful pass there from Tyrod Taylor to Chris Gregg for the first down. I mean, that was a bullet.
Well, they're getting their backup tight end involved. I guess they saw Seattle do it a little bit going to Wilson. So they decide they'll get Gregg involved. They got the 2 tight ends to the right, and they run the little out and in route. Nice play there. Tight spot. We saw this last week with Tyrod trying to fit some things in tight spots. He can get away with it, but he also got himself in trouble. So we'll have to see how that plays out as we go along.
Buffalo, it's interesting. We talked early on about not getting away from the running game. Now 7 of their 10 plays have been passes. McCoy's still yet to get going. He's going to go play action here is Taylor, and that pass is incomplete. Like the play call there, but just couldn't get the completion.
Well, execution wasn't great, and I think Tyrod got happy feet there. They were running a blitz on it, and the blitzer actually bit on the play fake, but Tyrod got happy feet. He threw the ball too quickly. I think we saw that with Foles with St. Louis. He threw that ball off his back foot, wound up getting intercepted by Earl Thomas. Didn't turn out to an interception there, but that was a dangerous throw. Don't want to see too many of those.
Second down and 10 for Taylor. Ball on the 44-yard line. 7:10 to go in the first half. The Seahawks have a 4-point advantage. Handoff goes to McCoy. McCoy trying to find some space. Picked up just 1 yard. Bennett and company on the stop, and it's 3rd and long for the Bills.
Well, you mentioned 7 of the 10 plays have been passing plays. When you've got 4 carries for 2 yards, it's hard to stay committed to the running game, but I think that's what they both have to do. You just have to be more creative in how you do it. You're going to have to get a toss in there, or like we said in the last game, when the running game's not working well, get the ball outside to McCoy. Throw a halfback wheel, throw a screen to him, get him out in space, and let him try to make a play.
6:40 to go in the first half. What do you think of what we've seen thus far? Seattle really getting in position to score off of a less than stellar punt there by the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising. We've seen ball control offense, and it's possession game, and it's a time of possession game.
Interesting formation here for Buffalo on 3rd down and 9. Taylor back to pass, has all the time in the world, and that pass is knocked away. I thought Taylor could have just jetted right up the seam there and gotten the first down himself.
He looked like he had a little bit of room. It was 9 yards. That's one of those, it's kind of iffy. You don't know if you're really going to get it, but he threw the pass short anyway, and it was covered, so I guess might as well. But we've also seen fumbles on those several times in the playoffs, so there's that playing into his head, I'm sure.
So Dar kicks it away, but that's going to go into the end zone. No drama there on the bounce, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Seahawks back at the 20. So the Seahawks back down to earth, having to go on an 80-yard drive to get some points. So Lynch has been held pretty much in check, as have the Seattle receivers. We saw their big playability in their previous game.
We did. It was Baldwin and Curse. Baldwin and Curse both had huge receptions in the last game. The game, or 2 games before that first game of the playoffs against St. Louis, Jimmy Graham had a huge catch. So they're not known for big play, but they are capable of it. I expect to see one of them break loose at some point.
1st and 10 at the 20, 14 on the play clock for Wilson. And Wilson will start the drive with a handoff to Lynch, and Buffalo waiting for that one. That was Jerry Hughes on the tackle. He had 22 in the regular season.
Well, Jerry Hughes, they got him lined up at left outside linebacker, normally he's a defensive end. And he was sitting there just kind of reading it. He was playing one of those situations where he's kind of worried about Russell Wilson, so he's going to sit there and watch and see if it's a read option. But he reacts so quickly and breaks on it that they're not able to get a whole lot. They still picked up 3, which isn't the worst thing in the world. But when the linebackers are sitting there and can react that quickly, it's tough to run the ball.
So 2nd and 7 after the Lynch 3-yard carry. Ball sits on the 23-yard line, and Lynch this season had a decent year, did have a 1,000-yard season, 1,011 yards, averaged 4 yards a carry, but he really shined last week, 125 yards on 21 carries, didn't reach the end zone, but was instrumental in that win against Carolina.
It was kind of a quiet 121 too. He started off pretty slow again. 2nd
down and 7, play clock running down on Wilson, but he gets it away, and Wilson fires to the left side, and Curse nearly broke the tackle. A beautiful route, and at the end of the day, Corey Graham ends up making the stop at the safety position.
Well, and it's funny that you say that, Corey Graham. He normally is a safety, but it almost looks like they have him lined up as a cornerback. They might have changed him. That's something that we weren't aware of. But he was normally a cornerback. They moved him to safety this year. Looks like they might have him back out there corner. That'll be interesting to see if they keep him out there. If they do, he's doing great. It was a great play. We thought Curse was going to break it. I thought he was one man to beat. He could have had the big play right after we called it, but Graham makes a good play. Still got the first down, and they're moving the chains.
Yeah, right after we call it. We've called plenty of them before. He really should have had that.
It just didn't work out for us.
1st down and 10 for Wilson and the Seahawks now as the clock ticks down to the halfway mark of the 2nd quarter. And play action for Wilson. Buffalo ready for it, and this is Pick Six City inside the 20, and Buffalo is going to score. That's Williams for the Buffaloes, 6.
Well, Aaron Williams led the team in tackles with 104 tackles. He only had 3 interceptions, but he's one of those guys. He can make plays. He can get in there. He gets more known as a run stopper, but he shows there he's got good pass defense. He can get in there and make a play. Huge play for Buffalo. Get the pick 6. They go up here in the second quarter. Wilson gets the interception. Is he going to get rattled? How is that going to affect the Seattle offense?
Williams 8 tackles last week, but 3 interceptions in the regular season, and none were bigger than that one here in the Super Bowl, as Russell Wilson's going to regret that. And that play was made by the defensive lineman there getting in the backfield so quickly.
And when we talked about that Buffalo defense is going to put pressure on you. They're going to force you to think about them. They're going to get in your face. They're going to put hands on you. They're going to push you to the ground. They're going to make you think about it. And that's already starting to happen. And we're only in the second quarter. Forces them in the force pass. I didn't think it was a bad throw. I think Williams just made a really good play on it. I was kind of surprised that he jumped it. But that's what this Buffalo defense can do.
So just a few seconds ticks off the clock. That was a speedy pick 6. Pretty simple. I feel bad for the lineman that was trying to catch up to him. Poor guy.
Never a good spot to be.
Russell Wilson or Marshawn Lynch check that takes the carry. I would hope Russell Wilson doesn't get pounded like that as Lynch gets a few on the play. 15 yards, 8 carries. Both teams, we talked about the keys of the game at the beginning, trying to establish these running games, and for either quarterback, that hasn't worked out too well.
Well, and it's going to be tough. You're going to have to get real creative, and your offensive line's really going to, it's too late now, but they're going to have eaten their Wheaties. If they didn't, they're in trouble. It's going to be up to them, and right now neither offensive line is doing a whole lot.
Wheaties were expecting a call. Curse on the left side, and Wilson drops to throw. Wilson looking around, fires it to Curse over the middle. That's a first down, and it looked like some Bills were claiming they were being held there. Wilson had plenty of time, and that picks up 6.
Well, you can claim that there's holding on every play. I think we've heard that before.
Right. We're not going to say it.
But I like what they're doing here. Russell Wilson throws an interception. They ran it the first play, but it's like, hey, let's give it right back to him. Let's get some confidence going. We saw that last week when he threw the interception. They came out throwing right after it. They weren't going to be scared of it. They know it's just an aberration. They're going to keep running their offense.
Curse already with 4 grabs. He had just 3 last game as Wilson goes play action against a Buffalo blitz, and then passes caught by Graham, and he fell over. Jimmy Graham fell over after a 33-yard pickup, and Seattle blows an opportunity at a touchdown.
Wow, the perfect play call at the perfect time. They get the play action post over the middle. The safeties are spread. He fires it in there. Jimmy Graham makes the catch, and then the turf monster got it.
I was gonna say, I guess the turf at Levi's isn't fixed.
Well, that's the downside. That's the downfall of having a fresh sod, as it hasn't grown roots yet, and it can do that. Turf monster got him. Potential touchdown there, could have shifted the game. Didn't work out for him, but it's still a big play, and they still got momentum.
It was the perfect play for the defense. The Bills were being
perfect play call.
And I couldn't get bringing out of my mouth, so I'm sorry there for the duplicate commentary as Lynch picks up a couple on the next game. Second and 8.
You made a mistake? Is that what you're saying?
Nope. It wasn't a mistake. It was I don't know. Somebody invaded my body. It wasn't a mistake. I'm not calling that down as my one mistake of the night.
There's a full moon out there, so anything's possible. Halloween's right around the corner. There's no telling what can happen.
Hey,
hopefully, if somebody invaded your body, hopefully they go away quickly.
Somebody invaded Jimmy Graham's body on that fall down in the middle of the field. So, 2:29 to go. Seattle could potentially tick a lot of time here off this first half clock and sort of erase that pick 6. That's what Buffalo needed. The Bills haven't had a tremendously efficient offensive first half, and that was huge.
Well, neither one of them had a big first half, but yeah, you gotta make the plays when you can. Didn't work out, but they're still in the run here.
Second down and 8. Coleman and Johnson in the backfield as Lynch fires it to Johnson, and Johnson's got a first down. Nice route there out of the backfield for Chris Johnson, and Wilson is now 9 of 13.
One thing I want to point out here to the younger players that are watching, as we see, they threw the interception, but they're not panicking. He's not going away from the passing game. He's not throwing into the flats. He's not getting scared. He's like, hey, shake it off. You got to have a mind kind of like a closer in baseball. You got to shake it off, put it behind you. So he's coming out here. He's still running his offense. He's throwing the deep pass to Graham. He's throwing the little angle routes. He's ran the little in the curse. He's running his offense. He's not going to let turnover, terribly impact him. And that's what a lot of younger players do. They throw the one interception, they get freaked out, and they start panicking. Cool, calm, and collected. That's the way to play.
So 2:03 to go in the second. I see that that our bot doesn't like people posting links. So
no, it does not.
It just
only certain guys are allowed to post
links.
Oh,
lockdown around here. First down and 10 at the 25-yard line for the Seahawks as they hand it off to Lynch. Nice block from Coleman. That springs that play, and a 14-yard pickup for Marshawn Lynch. There's a link for you.
Well, maybe we're going to start to see Marshawn get going now. It's kind of been back and forth in what we've seen with Lynch. Sometimes he gets going early. Other times it takes him a little bit to get going. Now he's broke off one of those runs. Maybe the line's going to start finding how to block that Buffalo defensive line, and he gets going. If he does, it's going to spell trouble for Buffalo.
Best run of the night for Marshawn Lynch, and Seattle's right back in the red zone. What a beautiful play in the backfield. A 4-yard loss there. That is Mario Williams shaking it up, and I tell you what, there have been times where Marshawn Lynch has gotten the ball and he wished that he didn't have the ball.
Yeah, I think they wish they would have ran a play action there, because that would have been a perfect time for him. Mario Williams normally lines up on the left side. Here they've got him lined up on the right side. He beats his blocker, and he almost beats the handoff. I mean, just a split second earlier, he could have blew that up in the backfield and created fumble. But a great play for a 4-yard loss, 2nd and 14. If Buffalo can hold them to a field goal here, I think they have to be happy with it. If they can hold them to a field goal, go in to the halftime time, I think they can feel good, work out the jitters, work out the kinks, come back in the second half, and try to put it to them.
The Bills down to one timeout here as they're trying to preserve some clock to get another shot at it before halftime. And Wilson throws off his back foot, but a nice catch from Curse and a block from Matthews. That picks up about 2, but there we saw Wilson off his back foot over the middle again. A dangerous ball there.
Well, it was a little bit dangerous the way he forced it. I like the route that they ran, though. They had the double digs. They had the deeper one with the one underneath. A lot of times what can happen there is you create the lower one, or you throw it to the lower one underneath, right, and the deep one creates a block for you. We've seen that in the SFL. We saw that a couple times where they create the rub, and they get a big play out of it. Didn't work out there. Bradham played it really well, jumped up, makes a tackle. But they picked up a few yards. They get it to 3rd and 8. Not an ideal situation for 3rd down. Certainly better than 3rd and 14. So, it'll be interesting to see what they got now. Seattle wants to make sure they don't turn the ball off and at least come away with a field goal also.
3rd down and 8. Buffalo has taken their final timeout, so they're likely to get the ball here unless Seattle gets inside the 1 and figures out how to run the clock all the way down, which I wouldn't recommend trying to do. Try to get the points here as Wilson's out of the gun, and he moves Lynch from left to right. Matthews is over on the near side of the football. And a lot of adjusting going on here for Russell Wilson as he drops to throw. That pass is nearly picked off at the goal line looking for Graham, and Wilson couldn't find him. 4th down and a huge stand for the Bills.
Nickel Roby, normally a cornerback, they had him lined up on Jimmy Graham. I saw what was going on there, and I thought they were going to that out route. And it looked like a good play. He got a good break. Nickel Roby is a cornerback, though. He's not size. You don't want to go up, put him in a fade situation against Jimmy Graham. But in a situation like that, he's got the speed that he can make up ground. He did, knocks it away, force the field goal.
That field goal was good. Well done, Tavares Jackson on the hold. And you know all about what Tavares Jackson can do as a Vikings fan.
How's Jordy Nelson?
Hey, come on. I'm talking about Tavares Jackson, and you're talking about our best receiver. Give me a break.
I know what you were thinking.
1st down and 10 at the 33. Nice return there for the Bills. So no timeouts, but the decision there to start burning them quickly paid off because now they have 96 seconds to get in the field goal range.
I think it's good clock management. It was awareness. Seeing that it was going to be hard for them to get a 1st down and continue to kill clock, so they started taking timeouts to preserve themselves. 96 seconds. So it's going to be interesting here. Now the one problem with this is when you try to preserve time to put yourself in a situation to try to score, sometimes you try to force it too much and you wind up throwing a turnover, great field position for the other team, give them points. You want to try to move the ball on the field, but you got to be careful with it.
Well, and sometimes you could end up giving the ball back to them, and Seattle's got all 3 timeouts right now, so a chess match going on here in a tie Super Bowl as Taylor is looking around, but backing up a lot, and he is lucky to get that ball out of his hands. That would have been a 13-yard loss.
It would have been, it would have been 13 only because he kept drifting back in the pocket. I always tell guys when they're new and they're trying to get in there, step into the pocket, step into the pocket, step into the pocket, make your throws. He couldn't find anybody open. It was great coverage downfield, but he just kind of kept drifting back in the pocket. Luckily, he got it away, but you're right. It would have been a 13-yard loss. That would have been a huge loss on the first play of this drive.
But it does stop the clock for Seattle. 1:31 to go in the first half. 2nd down and 10. McCoy is off to the right. He has been non-existent in the second quarter as Taylor is looking around and is going to be sacked. That's a 13-yard loss. Seattle burns a timeout. This could come back and bite the Bills. Wagner with the forceful hit.
Well, this isn't one of those situations where you force the ball and you create a turnover, but you're running plays that aren't getting open, you're not able to find any place to go with it, you wind up throwing an incompletion and almost taking a sack, then you finally do get the sack and lose the 13 yards. Now you're in a 3rd and 23. You have to just run a screen pass or run a draw up the middle, something like that. Make them use their second timeout. Try to shift the field position to help your defense hold up.
Well, and that's where, as you said, you start to try to force things. Earlier in the game, we saw Tyrod Taylor throw it away. Good play. Doesn't want to throw it away because then he saves Seattle a timeout. Ends up taking a big loss there, and now they're in some trouble. Sammy Watkins, by the way, he doesn't have a catch in this first half. It's 3rd and 23. Could they try to target him here as Tyrod Taylor's looking around all over the place, throws it deep down the field, and the pass is intercepted at the 25, ends up being a punt, but Richard Sherman comes down with it at the 25-yard line. Seattle could not have executed that any better.
Well, they couldn't have, but this goes back to what we're talking about, forcing it down the field. I think he was locked onto that route. He wanted to throw it, and he forced it even though it was double coverage. He had the corner route wide open underneath. He could have converted it and got the first down. I mean, there was probably 20 yards in between defenders, and I think it was Sammy Watkins that was right in the middle and was wide open. He either didn't see it or, I don't know, he couldn't have saw it. Then he tries to force, he gets locked onto one. Thought Buffalo was doing really well up until that drive. Now things are kind of going backwards for him.
So the Seahawks have Chris Johnson all the way out to the right side of the football, and that's where Wilson is pointing. And Wilson's out of the gun, empty backfield, back to pass, 1:15 on the clock, throws it over the middle. That pass caught by Graham. Graham is going to forcefully find, I believe, the first down marker. Nope, just shy of it, 2nd and inches. And Buffalo's now allowed 162 yards, 1:02 on the clock. Seattle has 2 timeouts. Again, empty backfield, Baldwin in the slot, back to pass. Wilson, pass caught by Luke Wilson at the 42, gain of 6. And Wilson is trying to hurry his troops to the line here as Seattle's trying to conserve time. 1st down and 10. Wilson resetting the troops just a bit. 42 seconds to go in the first half. Wilson looking all over the place, throws a deep ball into double coverage, and that passes. He caught it at the 21, and Seattle takes a timeout. Kearse has been the MVP of the first half for Seattle.
I thought he was going to go to Luke Wilson underneath because he had him open again too, and I thought that was a situation where they tried to force it downfield, maybe when they didn't need to, but Kearse winds up. He was basically in one-on-one coverage. The other guy was trailing a little bit. Goes up, makes a high points the ball, makes a great catch, comes down with it. Now they're in field goal range. They're only 21 yards away. They still have a timeout on the clock. Great play there. Was a little risky, but sometimes, you got to take some risks in order to succeed.
When a guy's hot, he's hot, and Kearse is hot right now. The big play receiver, and he was a big play receiver last week against the Panthers in that victory. Wilson to throw, can't take a sack here, going to the end zone. That pass is caught, and he dove into the end zone. It's a touchdown for Chris Matthews, and Seattle has owned the 2-minute drill, 16-10.
This is one of those situations where you try, as we talked about, you try to get the ball back with 1.5 minutes, give yourself an opportunity to put some points on the board, but you make a few mistakes, it backfires on you, you give the ball back, you let them drive down the field. Instead of being happy going into the game tied 10-10, which could have happened if they didn't take their timeouts, they wound up being down 17-10, and it came back to backfire on them.
I bet the Russian judge would have even given Chris Matthews a 10 out of 10 on that nice little dive there across the pylon. What do you think?
I didn't think it was. I thought he just kind of fell over and went in there.
Oh, Mike, it was majestic. It was
a phenomenal catch. Yes, it was a great catch. I thought his momentum had him fall down. I don't know if you noticed this though. We were out looking at the moon earlier. There's a full moon at Levi Stadium. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I didn't. That's a nice touch though.
That's interesting. That's cool.
I was gonna say, you mentioned the moon already, Mike. It's not even halftime, but I saw where you were going with that. That's good. That's good. Repeating yourself is never a good thing. That's all I'm saying. So Buffalo's got to be careful here, down 7 after Seattle has just dominated the last 2 minutes of this football game. The line has a lot of guys there on the right side as Taylor's going to drop the throw. Taylor looking around for somebody open, and no one open. That stops the clock with 23 seconds to go. And don't you think right now Buffalo just leave it alone here, down 7?
Well, it's tough. Tyrod's only 5 for 12 now. He's not throwing the ball really well. He's not making smart decisions. There's something to be said for just running the ball, going into the half, and not having anything more bad happen, because there's absolutely the possibility that you throw a bad pass, you turn the ball over again, and you put even more points on the board. I think at this point, it's probably not a bad idea to take a knee, run it up the middle, say, you know what, we're down 7. It's not the worst thing in the world. Let's regroup at halftime.
to the backfield. Bennett is off to the right side of the line. And Wagner highlighted there on your screen. And Taylor's dropping back to pass again. Fires it out to the left side. That pass is caught. That's Sammy Watkins' first ball of the night. 15 seconds left and counting. And the Bills aren't giving up on a field goal just yet. Ball's at the 39-yard line, down to 8 seconds, down to 7, down to 6. Got to get a snap off here quickly, down to 4, and they're going to just snap it here. And looking to go deep to the end zone. The fire down the field is incomplete. Looking for Watkins. That's the end of the first half, and Seattle absolutely dominated the end of that second quarter, and that is right now the difference in this game.
Well, they did dominate it, and I mean, they played great. I don't want to take anything away from that, but I think what we saw mostly was Buffalo get kind of tight. They didn't play loose like they were early in the game. I think, the pressure, they were overthinking a little bit, trying to get the ball back, forced too many throws. They kind of put them in a bind. Now let's see if they can work their way out of it.
From the 5, Thigpen on the return. He's got no blockers. A nice tackle in the open field by Mike Morgan on special teams, and it's 1st and 10 here for the Bills at the 24-yard line. McCoy, I believe, just 3 carries in that first half. I think you got to get him going here. Your only points on offense is the early field goal.
Yeah, you have to get him. That was one of the key points of the game when we started, when we were first talking about it. They got to get McCoy going one way or another. He's a big part of the offense. They got to figure out a way to get him the ball.
Just 91 yards for the Bills, 17 since the Harvin catch, the big deep ball for Harvin. And that's only a 1-yard gain on a toss, and Seattle they won't let anything go here tonight. Tackle made by Thomas III, who's been quiet so far.
Yeah, Earl Thomas has been quiet a little bit. McCoy's been quiet. They try to get him involved like we talked about. I don't have a problem with them going outside there. They want to try to spread him out. Now try to pound in the middle and see if he can get some yards. 2nd
down and 9 at the 25-yard line for the Bills. Down by 7. Taylor, 5-step drop, looking for someone to get open, and he's blindsided by Michael Bennett at left end. He had 10 sacks this regular season. And it's 3rd and long again here for the Bills. Taylor not getting rid of the football.
Well, the key to that play was great coverage downfield. We saw man coverage again. I was watching it. Everybody was locked down. There was a couple I thought were going to come open. The defenders stuck to them. That was a coverage sack right there. The defense played great coverage downfield, left them time. Finally, with this defensive line, somebody's going to get there if you play coverage like that.
3rd down and 14. This is a huge play for the Bills. They're going in the wrong direction right now. Need a big play. Taylor's dropping back. It is a throw, and the pass has knocked him in the air and intercepted. And stumbling over his receivers or his fellow teammates at the 36-yard line was Bobby Wagner, who's having a huge last few minutes here.
He's having a huge postseason.
Right.
He had 2 interceptions last week. He had 5 interceptions in the regular season. That guy's a monster. Now, he kind of got a gift there. He threw it in the traffic. He was hoping to bail him out, wound up getting tipped, and he came away with it. But again, I think this is something that we're seeing. This is becoming a trend now. Tyrod Taylor's he's got happy feet back there. He's not settled. He took the sack. He's trying to force things to make things happen. I don't know if he's going to be able to settle down, but he's going to have to if Buffalo has any chance of trying to win this.
It's only a 7-point game, and even if Seattle scores a touchdown, it's only a 14-point game with plenty of time left. Baldwin in motion, and the toss goes out to Lynch, and Lynch trying to cut it back in the middle and actually lost a couple of yards. Good defense there by Brown. 2nd and 12.
Great run defense. I don't think we've seen a game yet in this postseason that has featured run defense like this. Even our first regular season game that we did kind of as a warm-up, they were able to run the ball pretty well. These 2 defenses are playing lights out running the ball, which you would think, based on the stats, Tyrod Taylor being the MVP, that would give Buffalo the advantage. But the way Seattle's playing defense and their defensive line is playing, not working out so well for Buffalo right now.
Well, that's what's tough for Buffalo. I mean, how do you go away from the MVP? You're trying to get going what you normally do, and you just haven't been able to get going. It's very hard to say, okay, well, now we're going to go away from our MVP and try to do something different. That's a hard thing to do.
Well, McCoy had 1,245 yards and averaged 4.9 on carry. Just can't get him going in the playoffs.
Seattle just gets the play away. Play action. That pass is caught by Luke Wilson, and a very similar play to what ended up being an interception in the first half, but this time Russell Wilson unfazed.
Well, this is the difference between the 2 quarterbacks. If we saw that exact same play right now with Tyrod Taylor, I think he has happy feet, and he tries to throw it too early, and he maybe leaves a little bit too much air under it. Maybe it gets picked off. Russell Wilson, he saw the blitz is coming, but he doesn't panic. He plants his feet. He throws a nice ball out to Luke Wilson. He's able to grab it, pick it up, get some yards after it. That's the veteran play right there. little things like that, little subtle differences right now are the difference in this game.
We've seen Mario Williams, Marcel Darius, and the rest of this defensive front dominate Marshawn Lynch, particularly in these third and short situations so far tonight. We'll see if they can step up one more time. If Seattle tries to give it to the big fella, they got to hurry up again. Down to 4 on the play clock. Wilson's in the shotgun, Lynch to the left, and they got 1 on the play clock, and they didn't get it off. And Seattle has had a little bit of a problem with their tempo in the postseason, and it could cost them there. Now it's a 51-yard field goal.
They do this about once a game, as they take a little bit too long deciding on what play. And just after we talked about the veteran plays of Russell Wilson, very next play he comes out, takes too much time, they get a 5-yard penalty. Now they go from a manageable 3rd and 3 to a little bit longer 3rd and 8. Plays are going to take a little bit longer to develop, allow the defensive line to try to get some pressure.
Graham Matthews curse all to the right side. 3rd down, big 3rd down here for Wilson and the Seahawks, and Williams and the Bills. Back to pass. Wilson fires it complete to Baldwin. That's his first catch of the night, and had a receiver going underneath. That's where I thought he was going to go to, but a nice route by Baldwin, and even a better play call there.
Well, I was looking at this, and I was kind of wondering if he was going to go underneath, but he had one-on-one coverage on the outside. You know, Corey Graham, like we said, he went to safety. They moved him back to cornerback. He's playing out there. He got the matchup he wanted. He identified the one-on-one coverage out there, waited for the route to develop. He hit him right after the break. Great pass, first down. They're moving the ball.
So 6:35 and counting here to go in the third quarter. Again, no time to panic here for Buffalo. They're playing decent defense, making Seattle think twice about what exactly they're going to do. And that's kept Buffalo in the game up to this point, really, as Lynch takes the handoff, and Lynch, again, is dropped in the backfield. That's Kyle Williams, one of the 5 Williamses on this Bills team. Lynch, 23 yards on 13 carries. They've done as good a job on him as I've seen so far here in this PX1 season.
This might have been the best job that we've seen all season against Marshawn Lynch. They're trying all kinds of different things to try to get him open. Obviously doing a little bit better job than Buffalo's doing with Sean McCoy, but this Buffalo defense is nasty. It's going to come down to the quarterbacks, obviously, in this game, I think.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something if the MVP outshined by Russell Wilson, who
we have a line on that in the sportsbook also.
So
MVP of the Super Bowl.
2nd down and 11 for Wilson. Back to pass again. Wilson's got trouble brewing right in his face. And Powell right in the kisser, he goes down. That's an incomplete pass. Just got it away. Another 3rd and long for the Seahawks.
Well, there we see the Buffalo defense again. A little bit longer play. I think he was maybe looking at the streak. It looked like he hot routed the streak up the middle. Good coverage. Didn't want to force it in there, which is fine. At least he gets it away. 3rd and 11. Again, not a situation that they want to be. They want to be in here. You know, Seattle, for everything they've done right, they're making a few mistakes in this drive, and it's kind of costing them. But the good thing is they still have an opportunity to put at least 3 points on the board. 10-point lead with the way their defense is playing and the way the Buffalo offense is playing may be good enough.
Get us going on Twitter. Use the hashtags PX1Live and VIP Super Bowl at PX1 Sports on Twitter here tonight, as it's 3rd down and 11 for Seattle. Another big 3rd down for the Buffalo defense. 4-man rush. Wilson down the middle of the field. Oh, and Curse dropped it. He got stone hands at the wrong time, and the hot man from the first half really just blew it in the end zone, and that's twice we've seen Seattle not get touchdowns when they should have.
Wow, and I was really impressed with that read, as they had the double kind of post thing going, and they had the short one and they had the deep one, and a lot of players would force it into the underneath one. He waited a little bit longer, saw the deep one come open behind, could have been the touchdown. Curse unexpectedly makes the drop. Should be 24-14 or 24-10 right now.
Thigpen from the 5, and again, it just no blockers at all for Thigpen on the return. So 5:28 to go. Buffalo really has not had good field position at any point in tonight's game. They start from their own 23, and we'll see if McCoy can get the ball. Even if you don't want to run it to him, get him involved in the passing game somehow.
You got to try to get him involved. And Sammy Watkins, too. Watkins has been almost non-existent, and that's always been the big guy. He had 181 yards last game, and they're not throwing to him at all. Very, very interesting approach to this game so far for Buffalo. 1st
down and 10 of the 23, just 83 total yards to Seattle's 225. McCoy takes the handoff right side. Nice move by McCoy. That showed a lot of patience there as he picks up 4.
That's by far his best run of the night. It's only a 4-yard run, but he goes through the right hole. He sits there. He makes a little cut back inside. Very patient, like you said, behind the blockers. That's what you want to see out of him. I don't know if that's going to be enough to get him started, but there's still plenty of time left. There's still 15 minutes left in this game. There's plenty of time to get him going. let Tyrod Taylor settle down a little bit, get yourself back in the game.
Right on the tackle, his third. He's highlighted right now on the screen. And play action from Tyrod Taylor here on second down. That pass is caught by Clay, his first catch since the beginning of this ball game. Taylor, it's not sexy, 7-16 with 2 picks, but Buffalo's still just down 10.
Well, that was a good play right there. I liked it. You get McCoy to have his best run of the night,
Right.
and then he followed up right away with the play action. It was a great play call. They went to Clay, like we talked about earlier. He's going to be one of those guys that don't get a lot of catches to him, but the ones that he gets is crucial. They got a first down, which is what they really needed. Now maybe they can get going.
Play off to the right side, and Taylor's under center once again. McCoy in the backfield. 5 on the play clock here for Tyrod. And Tyrod just gets the play off. 3-step drop, looking around, fires up the middle. Too late, and it's picked off. It's Wagner again. The pass just too late from Tyrod Taylor. That is his third INT of the night.
Man, I don't know which way to go with this comment, because Bobby Wagner, wow, 2 interceptions last week, already 2 here. But Tyrod Taylor, just the youthful inexperience there, just throwing the ball just a little bit off, right to the linebacker, yet another turnover.
Counter to Lynch here, left side, and we haven't seen Marshawn Lynch get a left side carry to go for anything in a long time. Nearly got the first down there, and you know, still, you get the sense Buffalo just is frustrated as sin on offense, but if you can force a stop here, it's still a 2-score game.
Yeah, we saw Nighthawk come back from 24-0. You know, it's 24-3 at the half. I mean, there's absolutely time to come back. You just have to be patient.
Out of the eye, handoff Lynch. Nice play by Darius. I'm telling you, the Buffalo line is impressive. 3rd and 2.
Well, Darius had 39 tackles and 8 tackles for a loss in the regular season, which some people might think a little bit low. You expect him to get in the backfield, break things up, but they kind of spread it around. You know, I don't know if it's programmed or not, you know, how they do it, but they spread it around to who gets the plays. Darius comes in there, makes a play in the backfield, holds it to 3rd and 2. Now, this is going to be interesting what Small decides to do here. Is he going to go to Lynch again, which he's been known to do on 3rd and 2, or is he going to try to pass it? Buffalo defense has been playing pretty tight coverage, can at least force the punt, if not maybe get a turnover.
So 3rd down, 2 yards to go here. Seattle has had some trouble on 3rd down and short tonight. Baldwin goes in motion. Curse has been quiet in the 3rd quarter. Wilson back to pass, wide open. That's Baldwin, has a block downfield, and then another. What a great double block by Curse. He says, I'm not quiet. I'm as loud as can be downfield.
Well, he's wide open on the drag, which is surprising for this coverage. They played such great coverage all night. They let Baldwin wide open. He gets around the outside. We had great blocking on the outside. Looked like he thought that somebody was going to come off their block and get him, so he tried to spin. He didn't actually need to. Wound up costing him a couple yards, but a big play there for Seattle.
20-10, Seattle on the move. Buffalo's only touchdown tonight, a pick 6. The handoff goes to Lynch, and Lynch was able to avoid the initial would-be tackler. 7-yard pickup there for Lynch, and he's now up to about 2.5 yards a carry.
Well, I think this is what we saw last week against Carolina. We're starting to see it now against Buffalo. It took a little bit for the Seattle offense to get going. That game was close for the first half, and then all of a sudden in the second half they just dominated. The offensive line started blocking. Marshawn Lynch got going. Russell Wilson was making plays when he needed to. That's kind of what we're seeing now. Buffalo needs a stop here really bad. 2nd
and 3 at the 13. Wilson and the Seahawks on a very impressive drive off of Wagner's 2nd interception of the night. And the play action from Wilson fires short. It's off the hands of Coleman, but Buffalo missed a huge opportunity there to take it another way. Could have been another pick 6 opportunity.
Well, and it was almost a touchdown to Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham was open on the corner route. I think he got panicked because they were blitzing there. The blitz bit on the fake, but I think Russell Wilson, not the characteristic calm, missed Jimmy Graham wide open for the touchdown.
I'm just really surprised that we just have not seen any sort of rushing out of Tyrod Taylor. It's just anything to mix it up. Yeah, it's been a little surprising. I mean, we haven't seen that from Wilson so far through the postseason, so right. I'm not expecting it as much, especially with a 10-point lead protecting the football. But you know, Buffalo really has struggled getting their core guys involved in this game. Credit to Woodsmall on that. 3rd down and 3. Seattle's got to hurry up with the play call. Just gets it away. Wilson back to pass over the middle of the field. That's Curse, and they just have everything working right now. A 5-yard pickup. 1st and goal at the 8-yard line.
Well, I think it's important there to get Curse back involved. He had the big drop for the touchdown. Didn't work out for him. So finally they go back to him here. He gets the catch, maybe get his confidence back up. That's going to be crucial. Don't know if Buffalo's going to get back in, and certainly if they get a touchdown here, it's going to be really tough. But if they were able to get back in, you definitely want Curse to have his confidence up and use him in the passing game.
Alongside Mike Peters, I'm play-by-play commentator Cameron Irvine. It's 1st and goal from the 8, 54 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Seattle has a 10 lead. Seattle's had a couple of missed opportunities that could have made this game a lot less competitive. Buffalo trying to hold to another field goal here as Lynch takes the carry against a 4-man front, and Lynch will get a solid 3-yard gain and make it a 2nd and goal at the 5.
It'll be interesting to see what they do here. They give it to Lynch in the first down, they get the 2nd and goal. Are they going to keep trying to pound at the Lynch, or are they going to try to throw something? It's always a lot more difficult to throw when you're at the 5-yard line because the defense doesn't have to worry about a deep ball. They can all kind of sit in there. We know that the Buffalo defenders are very good in coverage. So kind of interesting. This is a situation I don't really want to be in because it's really hard to know what to do,
Right.
I mean, you want to run the ball maybe, but if you don't get it, then you got to pass it, and their guys are playing good coverage. It's a tough position to be in right now.
Well, the 3rd down conversions have been huge on this drive for Seattle. I think you try to run it again, and you feel like you have the confidence to get it on 3rd down. Matthews is in the slot here, and that's the end of the 3rd quarter. Boy, I thought Seattle ran out of time again. But that's the end of the 3rd.
Different clock.
Yeah, Seattle 20, Buffalo 10, 1 quarter to go here in the PX1 Sports Super Bowl, and Buffalo is they're hanging on by threads here. I think if Seattle scores, it would be tremendously difficult for the Bills to come back with the way Seattle's defense is playing.
If they can get a field goal, I think they're okay.
Right.
Then they're only down 13. They can get 2 touchdowns. If they get a touchdown here, that's going to be really difficult to overcome a 17-point deficit. 2nd
and goal for Seattle, and 8 in the box here for Buffalo. Curses the lone man out to the left side. Now Graham motions in that direction. Lynch follows Coleman, and Lynch tried to get in down to the 1-yard line. We've seen that time and time again tonight. Lynch last time punched it through, and Seattle's over 300 yards of offense once again.
Well, we've seen Coleman get the carries in this situation before, and this picking up those yards on the 2nd down was very crucial because now they got 3rd and 1. They got a lot of things they can do. I would probably run it here because worst case scenario, you get the field goal. But if you get the touchdown, that's even better. At least you don't have to worry about Russell Wilson throwing an interception on the 1-yard line, which we've seen in the Super Bowl before.
Yeah, and worst case scenario too, you can have 4th and goal at the 1. You got 2 cracks at it. Hand off to Lynch, and Lynch found a hole. He walks right in. Seattle, since that pick 6, has just dominated this football game. They're up 26-10, and Buffalo's really going to have to turn on the division rival Jets here in the final 9:24.
Well, it's kind of reminiscent of the game last week against Carolina. Russell Wilson throws the interception early in that one, but then he bounces back, and he's phenomenal the rest of the game, and Seattle dominates. It's almost like the last couple of games, the turnovers have kind of lit the switch under Wood Smalley settled down and said, okay, time to play smart football, and his guys don't make any mistakes after that.
Yeah, and Seattle so resilient. They had that ridiculous comeback by the St. Louis Rams against them early in the playoffs. Nearly blew that game, still was able to hold on, and keep control. And then, against the Panthers, just all night long. First play of the game, interception, no problem. They were smooth sailing the rest of the way.
Well, they've won all 3 games on the road too, which is huge. Going in and having to play all 3 of your playoff games on the road, and you come out victorious in all 3 of them, that's a huge confidence boost. Then you go into a neutral site. This is maybe, in theory, the easiest game that they've had to play.
A home game almost, with Buffalo going all the way across coast. Back to pass Taylor on play action. Deep ball. That pass caught by Watkins. That's a pickup of 22 yards. Good throw there from Taylor. I don't know if anyone was faked out by the play action, but completes the pass.
No, probably not there this deep in the game.
So 1st down and 10 for the Bills after Taylor's biggest completion in a while. They hand it off to McCoy, and McCoy cuts it back left. Nice to see that they're not completely abandoning the run, and it ends up picking him 7 yards.
I actually like that play. You went to a play action, didn't really fake anybody out, but you completed the pass. You got Sammy Watkins involved, but then you come back and you actually run the ball in the next play, and you pick up 7 yards. So, you're going to have to move the ball, but you don't want to just sit and pass every time. You want to give them something to think about. I think that was a good play call there.
Clock's ticking. Averill to the left of the line, along with Hill. 2nd down and 3. And Taylor back to pass, looking around, has trouble on his hands. Wide open, Sammy Watkins inside the 30, down to the 20. Watkins in a foot race, and he scores a touchdown. 8:19 to go. Don't count him out yet, folks.
Well, that's what they needed. They're down 17. They go down 17 early in the 4th. They need a big play. You don't want to force it, but this one, Sammy Watkins, he comes across the field. The line had great blocking for him. Allows Sammy to come across the field. He finally gets up. It's going to be hard to cover him. If you got to cover that guy for 5 seconds, good luck. That's basically what they did. The line couldn't get to him. He winds up getting open. They throw the ball to him. Great pass. Now a little bit of momentum. Now they got to get it to stop on defense.
That was the Sammy Watkins drive, and it's nice to see Buffalo sort of, they're you can't tell that they've given up yet because they're still trying to get McCoy involved. They're still trying to get Watkins involved. They're still trying to get hot. Now you don't even have to onside kick. You can play some defense here.
I played Clay early in the season. I got up on him like 35-3 or something, and he wound up fighting back, and he got back in the game. I think he got it within like 3 or 7. He's resilient. He's not going to go away and just roll over. He's going to keep fighting, and we saw it there. This game's going to get interesting with it.
On the return, Seattle tried to make the best of a bad blocking situation there. Gets out to the 27-yard line, and 8:14 left on the clock, and now it'll be interesting. Buffalo could not get off the field on third down on that last drive to save their life. They're going to have to mix things up on their third down defensive calls here to confuse the Seahawks.
Well, and I don't know so much if it's poor play calling. I think their defense just isn't playing quite as well, or maybe the Seattle offense is just executing a little bit better. They're going to have to figure out a way to get that, to spring in an exotic blitz, creating some confusing coverage. They got to do something to force a 3-and-out or turnover.
Two in the backfield here for Wilson. Ball on the right hash. 8:14 remaining in the Seahawks up 10. And Mario Williams makes the stop. That's a 3-yard pickup. Marshawn Lynch, a couple of touchdowns after not having a touchdown last week. So it's good to see that the big fella can still push the ball over the pylon.
Well, he's still got a little bit of tread left on those tires. We talked about it earlier on. He's getting a little up there, a little long in the tooth, but he's still got some tread on his tires. Now, one thing I want to mention really quickly is this could be something like we saw against St. Louis. The big play from St. Louis got them sparked by Gurley. Could this be the thing that sparks Buffalo? You
know what they're going to say that Marshawn Lynch is going to say in postgame?
Something about Skittles.
Oh, no. He's going to say, I was just here so I could get touchdowns. See what I did there? As Baldwin gets the first down here for Wilson. 56 yards, 3 receptions on the Wilson to Baldwin connection here today. Baldwin, most of that in the second half. Nice throw there from Seattle. They don't get cued on second down, and the drive continues.
Well, good first down there. It's going to be integral here for the Buffalo defense, as we talked about, to get a stop. They didn't get in on that one, but they can't let them take a whole lot of time off the ball. They got to get them off the field quickly. First down
and 10. Ball on the left hash for Seattle. The handoff goes to Chris Johnson. Johnson with the speed to the outside, and he gets all the way to the 40. The tackle made by Roberto Garza? Is that true? That cannot be true.
Sounds like an offensive.
It is an offensive lineman, but I'm telling you.
Who prepared your stats?
I have no idea, but you fed me this information. Well, I'm sorry, you didn't feed me this information. Somebody I have no idea who I know fed me information, and that was definitely not Roberto Garza, and whoever that was should be fired, and I should be fired for reading off the script.
Well, I know Alvin Bailey should have had a block in the back, but had a huge block on that run that keyed that run.
See, I told you I wasn't going to use that as my first mistake earlier because I knew something like that was going to happen later. Lynch takes the carry. We'll get back on track here as he picks up 3, while Buffalo is trying to get back on track here on defense and force a field goal.
Well, I think the one thing that we're seeing here, we saw it in the last couple of drives, is the Seattle offensive line is starting to create a big push. Like I said, Bailey came out with a huge block. Could have been a block at the back, but he had a big block on the last play. The offensive line overall was blocking really well there. It was only a 3-yard gain, but we weren't seeing that in the first half. Now we're starting to see it. That's not good for Buffalo.
Seattle's controlled the clock. 50 plays in this game, 23 runs, 27 passes. Second down and 7 just outside of field goal range, and the handoff goes to Lynch. Lynch has some space, got a first down to the 29-yard line. It's an 8-yard pickup. Seen the counter a lot tonight from Woodsmall.
We've seen him a few times. He's used the misdirection, the belly play, which is kind of like a delayed counter. Seen it a few times, but one thing we're also seeing is him run to the left almost every time. If I'm Buffalo, at this point, I'm bringing overload blitzes to that side. They're starting to get a push right now. Your defensive line isn't creating the penetration that it was before. So start bringing an overload blitz. Make him run to the other side. He's not comfortable doing it, apparently. Get him out of his comfort zone, because right now he's doing pretty much what he wants.
Seattle, just like they have been for this entire game, just continues to bleed clock, and Buffalo has just, they looked good in the first half in terms of, keeping drives short, getting them off the field, back-to-back 3-and-outs early on in this game for Seattle. But they have just been one tough cookie to crack here in the second half as Marshawn Lynch takes a handoff, made 2 people miss. A nice hit there at the end of the play from McKelvin, and it's the second and 5 for Seattle. Check that.
It was interesting there. He came out in the 4 wide, and I didn't think there was any chance that he was throwing the ball there. Ran the draw. I think he was trying to fake him out there, but surprisingly, he still got 5 yards there, even though he ran it to the left like we were talking about. I think it's time for Buffalo's going to have to start making some gambles on defense. They're going to have to make something happen.
4:39 left, and Seattle's protecting a 10-point lead. They've now drifted the ball all the way inside the 25-yard line. The drive started at the 27. The handoff's going to go to Lynch, and Marshawn Lynch is just rumbling down the field at this point, which they have just worn down this Bills offense. I can't tell you how long they've been, or this Bills defense, excuse me, I can't tell you how long they've been on the field.
Well, they've been on the field a lot in the game overall, and I think that's starting to show. The offensive line, like I said, is getting a lot of push right now. The defensive line's not getting a whole lot of penetration. They're getting pushed off their blocks. They're just getting kind of manhandled around the field, and that makes it a lot easier for the running back to create holes. We know Marshall Lynch great. The offensive line deserves a lot of credit right now.
Third down inches for Seattle. Big third down stop needed here for the Bills. And they might have gotten it. What a smackdown by Aaron Williams, but they give him the first down. And that is so disappointing for the Bills because they couldn't have defended that any better.
No, I was surprised. I thought they stopped him also. I don't know if you want to burn a timeout here and try to challenge, but it looked like he stopped him. I don't know if there's enough to overturn it, but it was a good play. It fortunately didn't work out for him.
Yeah, that's tough. Showing an inside blitz here. Wilson going to swing it out to Lynch, and Lynch is going to be blown up in the backfield. That's a 4-yard loss. Williams out there once again. 2nd and 14 at the 23, and now if you're Buffalo, you start thinking about, and they read my mind, they just called their first time out.
Yeah, it's at that point right now where you're looking at 3 minutes left. You want to try to preserve it. You're only down 10, so you still got a little bit of time. It's going to be kind of tricky. I don't know. It's hard to manage the clock down on this at this point. You really want to try to force them. Maybe save your 3 timeouts for the last 2-minute warnings, but it's hard to really go against it either way.
So 3:02 left. Buffalo putting all their eggs in this basket here on the next couple of plays. 2nd down and 14. Seattle trying to finish them off as Chris Johnson takes a carry, picks up just 2. 3rd down and 12 now for the Seahawks here, and you wonder if you're Seattle exactly, what you do here.
Well, I think you take the 3. You make sure you get at least the 3. If you can maybe get somebody open and it's wide open, go ahead and take it, see if you can break a tackle or something. But you just go something short and safe, take the 3, go up 13. Your defense is playing well. Their offense isn't playing great. They did have the big play on the last drive, but I think you feel like your defense has the advantage. You put it in their hands.
3rd down and 12 on the 21. This is the biggest play of the game, and the crowd is getting loud about it. 6 on the play clock, 2:23 to go on the game clock. They run the draw. Marshawn Lynch tried to get away, tackled at the line of scrimmage. Buffalo now has 1 timeout remaining, but they force the field goal and keep themselves in the game.
They do, and that's what you wanted as the Bills. You would have hoped that they passed, and you could have picked it off maybe for 6 and swing the game really quick, but Seattle plays it well there. They get the field goal. They go up 13. I don't know if I like the timeout there. Maybe you save it a little bit. Either way, like we said, it's kind of hard. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. But they have 2 minutes, 15 seconds, and they need 2 touchdowns really quick.
And an onside kick more than likely. Now they only have 1 timeout. This kick's going to go out of the back of the end zone, but we've seen Buffalo do it twice this game with the pick 6 and the long pass to Watkins. This team has nothing but big play potential. That's the way they made their living on offense this season.
They did, and I expect to see a lot of Sammy Watkins on this one. Now, the one thing we haven't seen from them so far, and we talked about this earlier, is Marquise Goodwin. Marquise Goodwin's got a lot of speed. He's somebody that you could line up in the slot, maybe line him up outside, take a shot. Richard Sherman's a great coverage corner, but he doesn't have a lot of speed. Maybe line Marquise Goodwin up on him, take him a shot down the field, see if he can get a big play. I'd be interested to see what they try to do.
Well, and Harvin's got some speed out there, and you know that Sherman's going to be all over Watkins here in this situation. Harvin's already proven this game that he can get free as Tyrod Taylor starts the drive in the shotgun and throws it over the middle of the field. That's Watkins. Watkins has been hot. 15-yard gain. Taylor's over 200 yards.
Yeah, I think we're going to see that a lot in this drive. Now, if they can get this playoff before the 2-minute warning, that would be clutch.
And they did, just at the nick of time, and a deep ball and one-on-one coverage is tipped up in the air, and Harvin almost came down with it as he was falling down. A risky throw there, could have been picked off in ball game. 2nd down and 10 of the 2-minute warning.
Well, they're picking on Kerry Williams, and we saw in the St. Louis game, Kerry Williams was locked in. He only had 1 interception on the season, but he did have an interception in that playoff game. I think if I'm going to try to throw a pass like that, I'm probably going to throw it to Sammy Watkins or maybe even Charles Clay, who's got a little bit more size. They were hoping for Harvin, didn't really work out for him. 2nd to time, they're going to have to get something going here quick. 2nd
down, 10 for the Bills. Ball on the 35. Tyrod Taylor's been wishy-washy. The 3 interceptions have been the biggest difference in this ball game as Russell Wilson has settled down following a pick 6. Seattle is shifting their defense more so to the right side and bringing a blitz from that side, and Taylor's going to run a screen to the left, and McCoy looking for blocks, and McCoy with a spin move past midfield, past the 40, a beautiful play call all the way down to the 34-yard line, a gain of 31.
But he didn't get out of bounds. This is what we talked about so often. You got to get out of bounds. You can't stay in bounds. He did, wasting valuable time.
Taylor hurrying up the troops, a minute 35 to go in the ball game, and Taylor's got a blitz coming, and the pass overthrown over the middle. Not the worst play in the world. It stops the clock with a minute 31 to go.
No, you definitely prefer that the overthrows it there rather than underthrowing it. And it stops the clock. But again, you got to get out of bounds. That's just, I mean, it's only 15 seconds, but in a situation like this where you're down 2 scores, that 15 seconds is crucial. Needing to get out of bounds, didn't. 2nd and 10, they need a big play.
He couldn't have called a better play there.
No, it was a perfect play. That just the ending of it kind of detracted from it.
So 2nd down and 10 for Buffalo, and they just have somehow figured out a way to just keep clawing and scratching their way back into this one. Just 30 plays tonight for the offense. Just the time of possession so lopsided this evening as Taylor is looking around, finally escapes the pocket, going to throw off his back foot, and he threw it away. Don't know if that was exactly his intention as McCoy was streaking down the field, 3rd and 10.
Well, the defense played back, and they had pretty good coverage. So he did what we wanted them to do earlier is he started to scramble. Then McCoy started running upfield. I think he should have threw it earlier because he had a window. He waited a little bit too long, didn't plant his feet, wound up throwing it away.
3rd down and 10, a huge 3rd down, 4-down territory obviously here for the Bills with the Super Bowl on the line. Taylor back to pass, going over the middle. That pass is caught by Robert Woods. A clutch play, 16 yards.
Robert Woods is one of those guys. He can get in, he can get in there and make plays. Great pass there. They're moving. It's getting tight, but they still got a shot.
1:08 to go. Looking for a touchdown and an onside kick to keep hope alive. Play action. Taylor to the end zone. Caught by Harvin. Touchdown, Buffalo.
Well, you called Percy Harvin earlier. You said he was somebody that can get open. They run a little post route over the middle. They've been running a lot in the middle, and the Seattle defense has kind of been giving it to them. I think they've been trying to defend the outsides. They surprise them, go up the middle. Touchdown to Percy Harvin, gets them within 6. Now it's interesting. Now, the one thing that we talked about earlier is they use their timeouts, and this is a situation where it could come back to bite them.
So 30-24 now, a minute 3 to go. That was an 7-play, 80-yard drive as Tyrod Taylor has tried his best to lead his squad back after a poor first half showing and a poor first 3 quarters showing. If we're being honest, Buffalo on the onside kick here. It'll bounce up and hit Baldwin square in the hands, the 46-yard line, and that's pretty much the ball game.
Yeah, I think that's going to do it. I can't see any way that they come back now. The interesting thing about this, and I know don't want to take away from this. I know a lot of guys are excited about the sports book and betting on the line. Opened at 4.5, went to 5.5, and a couple people got it at that. Then they went to 7.5, and a couple people. So that touchdown there kind of hurt some guys in the sportsbook. That's exactly the way Vegas goes.
Right. So Seattle on the 45. I wouldn't expect anything but a run and a couple of knees here as Lynch takes the carry, and Lynch bouncing off tacklers. And I'm sure Pete Carroll said, "Go down, just go down."
Yeah, you would have liked them to see just to take the knee there. I mean, they can run off 1.5 minutes just from 2 knees. He's only got 1 timeout. Too risky there. I mean, you don't think Marshawn's going to fumble, but I would have rather just seen 2 knees. Looks like we're going to get it.
Yeah, that's what we're going to see. So the Seattle Seahawks are going to be the VIP PX1 Super Bowl champions, a 30-24 game. The score a little bit closer than the game actually was, but credit to Buffalo. They never quit, and they really, sort of found the rhythm that they were looking for early on. Too little, too late, and how many times have we said that for some playoff defeats here so far this year?
Well, who are the 2 big guys in that drive that got going, that got them started? Not the one that ended it, but early.
Watkins and McCoy.
Exactly, and we were screaming that in the first half. You got to get them involved. They weren't getting them involved. Had they got them involved a little bit earlier, this could have been a whole different game.
So the clock will tick down, and Seattle will be singing "We Are the Champions" tonight, and the Seahawks don't have to throw an interception in the end zone here to cement or decline their Super Bowl trophy, as Rex Ryan's going to have to look on, and the Buffalo Bills franchise says, "Oh, not again," as Seattle takes it home.
0-5 for Buffalo in Super Bowls. That's a tough way to go. The chat was asking who the MVP was. They had a line in one of our threads. Who, voting on who the MVP was. I don't know if the game gives out an MVP, but if you were to pick an MVP in this game, who would it be?
Bobby Wagner. He was unbelievable.
Yeah, got to be Bobby. 2 interceptions.
And he had a sack.
Yeah.
And I don't think he had a sack. I don't think that he had a sack all season. I think that was his first. I don't know if he had one in the playoffs.
No, he did not have a sack all season.
But yeah, so Bobby Wagner, 2 picks. I don't know how you give it to anybody else. Curse, maybe. But
a middle linebacker with 9 interceptions on the season,
right,
including the playoffs. That's just insane.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's a good call. I don't even know if he was part of that poll. If anybody picked Bobby Wagner, but who would expect that? I mean, 2 interceptions. I mean, there's a lot of things. You could say curse, but I don't know if he had a huge impact. Russell Wilson had a good game. Too. Well, he did, but he also dropped one. Russell Wilson had a good game, but I think you're right. I think Bobby Wagner, that was pivotal. The defense overall is really what allowed him to jump away. And
did you see who Madden gave the Super Bowl MVP to?
I did not. Did they give it?
Yeah, they gave it to Aaron Williams of the Bills.
No way.
They just did. I'm telling you.
Are you sure that's what you saw?
I'm telling you. I just saw. Our MVP is much more pertinent here tonight.
Bobby Wagner for sure. How did they? Really?
I don't know.
Is Rex still in here?
I don't know.
What did he show? There was Rex in here today. Rex, come on, let's get that fixed, buddy.
But there wasn't a lot to be fixed here tonight for Seattle. They played, besides the pick 6, just a phenomenal ball game. They won it by 6. Credit the Bills. There's a reason why they were in the Super Bowl, and they showed that in the second half. But just a brilliant job. Russell Wilson completed 70% of his passes. Marshawn Lynch wore them down in the second half. And that ball control offense on third down, I'd love to see, the third down stats for Seattle. But they were absolutely terrific on third downs tonight.
Yeah, they were. They were great all around. I mean, they converted on many, many third downs. They also did a really good job in first and second down. We didn't see them in a lot of really long third downs. I think that was important too, and that's something a lot of teams can learn from. A lot of teams try to come out and they try to go for first downs in every play, and they put themselves in a lot of long third downs. And then you run into what Buffalo ran into, which was a lot of long third downs, and you try to force passes, you take sacks. The key, I think, what a lot of teams need to do, and what we saw with Seattle, is run the ball, get short plays up front, set up manageable third downs. If you happen to get your first down, cool, but the big thing is set up manageable third downs. They were able to do that. They were able to convert. That was a big difference in the game.
Curse finished with 7 catches, by the way, for 83 yards. LaShawn McCoy finishes, besides with that one screen pass, finishes with 14 yards on 7 carries. And they just, I think, too early, when they were down 17-10, just totally abandoned him out there.
They did, and that's hard. I mean, he really wasn't doing anything. He had 4 carries for 2 yards early on.
Tyrod Taylor's the MVP. I get that.
It's hard to say that they should have kept running him, but they didn't. I don't think they threw him enough passes. We talked about in the first half, they didn't really do it. When they finally got him a pass late in the game, he broke a big play.
Right.
Watkins got open late in the game. Again, I don't want to harp on it, but I think if Clay had that to do over again, I think if he could have got McCoy open in the passing game and Watkins open a little bit earlier in that game, could have been a different game. I think that's what he would have preferred to do.
Seattle was 7 of 13 on third downs. Buffalo just 1 for 7. And Seattle was 5 for 5 in the red zone tonight. They did not make a crucial mistake in clutch time. They put points on the board, and they won the ball game.
Yeah, that's really all you can do. Play defense, limit your mistakes. That's the formula for champions. I will say as we sign off,